Hi, I'm Chef Terri Milligan, and today I'm going to show you how to make two types of fresh pasta. We're going to make one, which is just a basic egg pasta. Then I'm going to show you a variation where you just add 2 to 3 tablespoons of tomato paste and you're going to get tomato pasta. So I've got tomato fettuccine that I've made, and I have the egg pasta. So today, that's what we're going to make. So let's start, and I'll show you how to make some delicious pasta easily in a food processor using a KitchenAid with a special pasta attachment. Start by placing 1 pound of flour in the bowl of your food processor. If you don't have a scale to measure out the flour, it's 3 cups plus about a tablespoon of flour. Then we're going to add just a touch of salt. I'm using sea salt or kosher salt. And then we're going to add a tablespoon or so of extra virgin olive oil. I'm using a nice olive oil from a place up here in Door County called The Oilery. If you want to add some different flavors to your pasta, you can make it with olive oil that has a little bit of basil in it, or a lemon olive oil, an orange olive oil, or a rosemary olive oil. So here's our pasta dough. I'm going to put it in my hand and it's all ready to go. If it seems still a little bit too wet, maybe you put just a tad too much of the water in there. Just knead a little bit of flour into it when you're kneading the dough to make the final ball, which I'm going to do next. Then the final thing you want to do once the dough is all kneaded is make it into a nice smooth ball. Let it rest for about a half an hour, and then you'll be ready to put it through your pasta machine. The pasta attachments go easily on your KitchenAid. Just lift up the little portion right above where your mixing bowl goes. Lift that up and you'll expose the area that the pasta attachment will go into. Then line it up. There's a little notch. You line it up and just undo this little screw tab here on the KitchenAid. Line it up, screw it in, make sure it's nice and sturdy, and you're all set. Then you'll notice on your KitchenAid attachment, this is for the pasta roller, you'll see that it has different numbers on it. We always start with number 0 or number 1 and then go to about number 5. Our machine is calibrated at 0 at the moment. We're going to go all the way to 5. I don't like to go past 5 because I find the pasta gets a little too thin. I'm making the dough into a little disc, putting my machine on. Originally now it's going to be a little not as smooth as we want it. We're going to fold it like a book, put it through again. If the dough gets too sticky, we're going to put a little flour on it, fold it again. I'm going to do one more book fold. Now I'm going to make it go to number 1 on my dial. So it's going to get a little bit thinner and a little bit smoother. Do that a couple of times. Then I'm going to go to 2, 3, 4, stopping at 5. After you've made your pasta sheets, make sure that they rest on your work surface for about 15 minutes. What that's going to do is just let these pasta sheets dry out a little bit so they're not quite so tacky, and they're going to go through the fettuccine portion of the attachment a lot easier and they don't stick. Now I have our fettuccine attachment on the KitchenAid. There's no different calibrations to put on this. It's just one. You don't have to move a dial, so it's all ready to go. My dough has been resting for about 10 to 15 minutes, so it's a little drier. That just helps when it goes through the noodle process here. If it is still a little tacky, just put a little slight dusting of flour on it. So we're going to put our machine on again. And in goes our pasta. You can make this go as fast or as slow as you want. You're controlling it with the dial on your machine. And there you go, you've got your noodles. So we're going to do some more noodles. Again, here's my pasta sheet ready to go. And I have to cut these in half because I'm working alone. Gets a little too hard to work with when they're really long. On goes my machine. In goes my pasta strip. Out comes my noodles. I'm going to use this pasta later, so I want to get it completely dry. So I'm going to let it dry overnight on my pasta rack. Then in the morning, it should be thoroughly dry, and I'll be able to put it in little plastic bags, and they'll be ready to use whenever we want to use fresh pasta. One thing you do want to remember when you're using these attachments is that they cannot be immersed in water. They will rust, especially the little areas where you make the noodles, the fettuccine. So we have some delicious homemade pasta made in a food processor with our KitchenAid attachment for both a flat piece of pasta dough and the fettuccine. A little bit of our extra virgin olive oil was used on it as well. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and you can find a whole lot more on my website, chefterrimilligan.com. Thanks for joining me today on how to make homemade pasta.